Recently, I got an email from a brother who directed me to I Never Knew TV. And shout out to that channel. It focuses on a lot of revolutionary things. And they had Dr. Umar Johnson on there. And the name of this video was called Dr. Umar, Men and Women Who Wear Weaves and Get Cosmetic Surgery Are Not at Peace with Themselves. Now, this is very interesting because it's really directed at Black women who are known for getting weaves and cosmetic surgery and BBLs. But I want to play a small clip of this and then we're going to come back.
In a recent podcast, I heard you say something which is very true, but people don't want to hear it. You said women who wear weaves are not at peace with themselves, right? I felt you should have added the men and people who are a part of this epidemic of cosmetic surgery. A lot of times people, the big thing is the BBL, right? But we approach it from a more humorous standpoint. Ha, ha, ha. There's nothing funny about it. When I see people with weaves, when I see people with the silicone and the BBLs, I see inner turmoil.
Of course.
I see a lot of struggle where you are so displeased with yourself that you put yourself through the surgery.
Of course.
There's nothing to be joked about. I think we joke about it too much and we criticize it too much from a comedy standpoint. And we don't see the psychological impact or the psychological turmoil, spiritual turmoil a person's experiencing to do these things to themselves.
I would say, as I've often said, that people who are not at peace with themselves will often try to reinvent themselves from the outside in. You can't reinvent yourself from the outside in. You have to reinvent yourself from the inside out. All this surgery, cosmetic surgery, men and women, all this wig and weave and European hair color, all of this are signs that the person wasting all this money on trying to look like a different person is not at peace with themselves. They are not happy people. You can't be. Happy people are not overly preoccupied with how they appear to others. That is a mental illness, to be that preoccupied with your physical appearance that everything else in your life takes a back seat. And my biggest concern for my sisters, and I love all of them, you know, whether they are artificial or real, let me clarify that. I love them if they are getting surgery, not if they're changing their gender. I got an issue with the whole childhood transgender movement, but just sisters who are getting surgery to look more womanly. My concern for them is when they become elders, when you get older, you got artificial breasts, you got artificial buttocks. What is going to happen when you're 70 years old? What happens to those breasts when they get heavy and saggy? What happens to those buttocks? What happened to those packs inside your body when they begin to bust? I don't think our Black women are looking.
Now, that is a very interesting take from Dr. Umar Johnson. He says that women, and they did throw men in there. I don't know why they wanted to throw men in there, but they wanted to be politically correct. Y'all saw that. They wanted to somehow put in Black men in the cosmetic surgery when we know that the majority of them are women. But, you know, to try to keep it honest and say that they're not, you know, woman hating, they had to throw the men in there. Fair enough. But now he says that somebody who wears weaves and gets cosmetic surgery are not at peace with themselves. Now, mention he didn't say anything about Black men making these women feel this way, okay? Because we all know that women who wear weaves, that's not because of Black men. Is it not true? Like, if a woman wants to wear weaves, if she wants to wear sandals or different wigs, that's something that she's choosing to do because of an inferiority complex or something that she would like to do because she wants to do it. But I want to get back to this whole situation of what we talked about last month or 2 months ago on the Daily Wrap-Up Crew podcast. Let me play this again, and I want to come back.
Over here, I want to say this to us, though, because we try to act like the way sisters treat us doesn't have a history that we are not at least partly responsible for. Let's be honest. The Black woman has had to hold down the Black house by herself, although imperfectly. She's had to do it by herself since the mass incarceration of Black males began in the 1970s. You understand me? Most of our children are raised by a single mother right now. And it has been that way for about 50 years. So when a sister says, I don't need a man, because she couldn't find one strong enough to hold her down. Or when you meet a woman and you say, sister, I'm strong enough to be your man. You ain't got to work or you ain't got to pay the bills or whatever. Pull back. I got you. And she can't do it because all the other men before you who disappointed her. So what I'm saying is, black men, we got to be patient with our women because we created that personality. We created that, and then we want to act like we didn't play a role.
We have to be held accountable for their poor selection.
No, you have to be held accountable. No, you have to be held accountable because they have a poor selection. See, what you're saying, you're selecting a poor mate. And what I'm saying is they don't have much to select one, so of course she's going to end up with a poor mate. And why is she going to end up with a poor mate? Because we as black men are not raising black boys to be the men that our women need.
At first here, he says in the first clip, people who are insecure with themselves make these decisions, right? That's the first thing he's saying. You are making these decisions, you're insecure with yourself, and you have a problem with yourself. Then at the same time, he's saying black men are responsible for the decisions that black women make. But he said it the correct way the first time. Black women who make these decisions have some level of, truth about themselves that they don't want to either meet. And if they're insecure, that cannot be blamed on black men. Let me tell you why. I was a kid, storytime music. I was a kid in school that got made fun of by women. You're ugly, you're hella black, you're this, you're that. Whatever. I mean, stop the show. Ain't shit changed. I'm still getting those things, right? But the way that I feel about myself is not black women's fault, okay? If I decided I want to go out there and enlighten my skin or wear weaves or get cosmetic surgery, that's not black women's fault. That's a personal problem, okay? I have personal issues that I need to take care of, and it's not for me to go out and terrorize some sister because, let's say, for example, some other sisters had an issue or they made me feel a certain way. That don't have anything to do with them directly. So, we need to be really honest about that, okay? And in the same way, a lot of women, and I'm gonna just be honest, and again, I've kind of went past the whole weave thing. I think like a lot of brothers, I don't really think that a weave is a big deal. We understand that, if you're gonna deal with black women, you have some natural hair sisters out there, right? But I do know natural hair, it's, women say it's hard to keep up. It's expensive to keep up. So we know, right? It's hard to keep up. A lot of brothers like it, but it's hard to keep up. But you're gonna be dealing with weaves, wigs, and sandals. WWS. You're gonna deal with a black woman, you're gonna deal with some level of weaves and wigs. It's what sisters do, all right? I've accepted it. I'm not going nowhere. I'm gonna be dealing with weaves, wigs, and sandals. That's just what you're gonna be dealing with, bro. And they're gonna be dragging them sandals too. Okay, all right, so now that we got that out the way, that we're gonna be dealing with weaves and wigs and sandals, that's not really what is the biggest turnoff to most black men who like black women. Okay, you have a wig. I think now if it gets out of hand, like it's a purple haze wig now, and it's, you got Neapolitan yogurt in your wig, and blue and green and sexy and red kind of. That's just, can't nobody take you serious when you don't know that. That stuff is crazy, right? But what we really need to be honest about is a lot of sisters are not at peace with themselves because they have their own personal insecurities. You could even tell them, oh, you look good, you look great, you look nice. You could tell a girl like, hey, you don't need breast implants or you don't need a breast reduction or, and it's how they feel about themselves. A black man can't make a woman feel like, look at Michael Jackson, for example. And he wasn't a woman, but Michael Jackson, most people would agree, he looked better in his natural complexion than he did with all this, different stuff he ended up doing. We all know that. Michael Jackson's silly ass decided to go ahead and get all them damn things, end up killing himself because of all those goddamn skin lightening things. Wasn't nothing wrong with Michael Jackson before. He got popular in his own image, but he had a problem with himself. So then on one end, Dr. Umar says these women are not at peace with themselves. And on the other end, black men are responsible for the decisions that they make when they're not at peace with themselves. Are you serious? You know how many hurt black men are out there? And if a hurt black man go out there and do something stupid, it's not black women's fault. As an adult, you have your obligation to get over things, to grow, to heal. It's not no woman's fault if a man been hurt by a woman before, his feelings been hurt, he going around acting crazy. Now it's black women that's to blame. No, it's not. And these brothers out here, if these women want to get these BBLs, some of them sisters are dying from it. They're getting these orange wigs and weaves and hey, listen, you want to go out there and get all them tattoos and that wasn't discussed, but hey, that's how you want to present yourself. If somebody don't want to deal with you, that's on you. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Grab the bell. We're out. Peace.